Good evening, everyone. How y'all doing? I'm tired, so if I stutter or slur my words tonight, I'm just off a long day of work. And it's much harder to wear a mask in this heat. So, well, let's go ahead and get started tonight. So tonight, I want to talk about this divisiveness that we're kind of experiencing, not a specific issue per se, because I just see as we're starting to reopen and we're starting to see all this divisiveness pop up again. And the one thing I really want to talk about is a comment our president made late last week. So that was saying churches are essential. And yes, they are. So we'll get there. Some of you guys may have seen on my personal Facebook page this week, I shared a picture, and I'm going to share that with you now. I think if I switch over, I shouldn't lose my voice, so let's try this. So this is the picture I shared here, and I'll just go ahead and read it. Churches are essential. We already knew that. When the faithful are scattered in every age due to persecution, disaster, or plague, we persist in worship and service, in sacrament and sacrifice, feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, welcoming the stranger, being good news for the poor, working to free the captives and oppressed. Our highest and holy calling is to be the church, not go to church. So that one hit home for me, because I think it addresses a lot of things I've been feeling internally throughout this conflict, or this pandemic, whatever we want to call it. Throughout all this, it addresses some stuff that I've been feeling internally, but also it just brings it into such a tangible point. And it kind of is referencing a few different scriptures. So we have multiple places in the Bible where it tells us that we need to go out and help our communities, help those that are poor, that are oppressed, that are suffering. I know I haven't been personally affected by this pandemic nearly as much, other than having to work at home a lot more and having my job drastically change. But I've been really fortunate not to be severely financially impacted by the pandemic. And so when I get the opportunity, or if I get the opportunity, helping somebody that isn't in a financially stable situation, is something that I feel called to do, and I feel is really important to do. In Romans, it references the body of Christ. We're all given different talents, different spiritual gifts, different things we're good at. And we need to go out and use those. We need to be the body of Christ. The church is a people, it's not a place, and it's very important. And one of the arguments I have heard against this idea that church is a place, not a people, so the opposite of what I'm trying to convey here, is where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there in the midst of them. And that's, I believe, the NRSV translation. It's Matthew 18:20. So to address that, first of all, most of us are quarantined home with our families. There's a few exceptions that are singles at home, and I feel so bad for you right now. But for those that are quarantined at home with their families, 2 or 3 are gathered in His name to worship on a Sunday morning, whether that be virtual church, whether that be doing a service project, decked out in PPE, handing out food, anonymously dropping off cookies at your neighbor's doorstep, I don't know. But working hard to brighten other people's day in the midst of this, because for a lot of people it's really difficult. Even for people that it doesn't financially impact, it can be, it is a stressful time. And as the church, we can work together to make this better for everyone. So this is a super short devotional. I just felt really called to speak on this particular image because it just called out to my heart. And So super short message tonight, but I encourage you as you go throughout the next week and beyond to work hard to fulfill this calling, to help the poor, to help the oppressed. I'll read the middle of this thing again. I've got it written over here. To feed the hungry, clothe the naked, welcome the stranger, be good news for the poor, work to free the captives and oppressed, because our highest and most holy calling is to be the church, not go to church. It's super important. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and I'll see you guys later.